as well. Coach Sherman?
Well, welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it. And pleasure to be here. Haven't been to the western part of Texas. Always been to the eastern part over the years. So it's great to be here. It's been 16 years since I was last at a regional, back in 2001 out in Ohio State. Big gap between regionals. And, I've been in the business 31 years and been to other regionals prior to that. And as an assistant coach in D1 and then I was obviously years before that as an NAIA coach. So great atmosphere, great stadium, great playing surface. We're excited. We know it's going to be big time baseball, so it's an honor to be here.
First of all, welcome to Texas, Coach Sherman.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you guys here, and it's just a great opportunity for us and our program. We're very excited to come to Tech. We thought we were going to Houston, which would have been the logical choice. Guess the NCAA decided otherwise and paired us back up with my good buddy here, Jay Johnson. And these guys do an incredible job. I know Delaware can really swing the bat. Excuse me. Jay Johnson and Arizona are as good as it gets. Had the opportunity to play those guys twice last year, and they are definitely a handful. Super well coached, play the game the right way, play extremely hard. And then Tim Tadlock. Tim and I have been friends for 20-plus years. Been going at it since he was at Grayson and I was at Texarkana, and I will tell you this, not a better coach in the country than Tim Tadlock. They have a really good team. They play hard, play the right way, and he's even a better man. So just feel very fortunate and blessed to be here with my team. I love my guys. They play really hard. They're going to give it all they got. They're fun to watch, and so we're ready to get going.
Yeah, great to be here. Anytime you're playing baseball after Memorial Day, it's a great thing and a great season. Very proud of our team for the accomplishment of being here. Probably the best thing I can say is coming off of a great year last year, there was zero complacency, and this team wanted to write its own story, if you will, and it has done a good job of that from the first pitch of the season till now. Sharing the sentiments of the other coaches, we know we're in for a great challenge this weekend. 4 good offensive teams, 4 good pitching staffs, 4 groups of really good athletes, and we're excited for the competition.
Coach Tadlock?
First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to Lubbock. You guys will soon find out that our administrative staff does a really good job of running a regional. I feel like we got some of the best hospitality in the country, obviously. Thanks for the kind words, Matt. It was awful nice of you, and congratulations to everybody, all the programs and their staffs and their teams. It's a pretty neat deal. Get to go play this time of year. I know everybody's looking forward to it.
Okay, we'll take questions for the coaches. When you ask your question, please identify yourself, also your organization.
Coach Tadlock, is it on? Okay. Kevin Treslini from DelawareOnline.com and the News Journal. As you guys kind of size up Delaware, obviously a really strong defensive club, but at the same time they haven't played the level of competition that you guys have seen. How do you weigh that, and is that something that that is even given a second thought? The type of schedule they've played compared to the type of schedule you guys have played.
Well, is it okay to disagree? I mean, I would say they played some good baseball teams based on what I've seen, looking at their schedule. I know Coach Sherman, if you're still playing at this time of year, you got a bunch of guys that believe they can win, and they step on the field. And, everybody's ready to play this time of year. And I won't name schools, but I know they've played good teams. As far as telling you a whole bunch about their team, really at this point in the year, it's a lot about your own team, about going and playing good baseball. And our staffs, watched a bunch of stuff like everybody does, but really it's about going out and playing. And got all the respect in the world for anybody that's playing this time of year. And we got to go out and earn the right to play good and to win.
Coach Deggs, you obviously, Michael Lev with the Arizona Daily Star. You obviously played Arizona twice last year. What changes have you noticed, if any, since you really started to do a deep dive into what the team looks like this year? Where have they improved, or what's your kind of outlook on that team?
You talking about Arizona?
Arizona, right.
You know, obviously they can swing the bat. The year JJ's had, he's really taken, the next step in his progression as a player. I mean, 29 doubles, at 400 for most of the year. I think center fielder Oliva's really kind of taken the next step as well. Just a tremendous athlete, very gifted. And then they've got what I call scrappers. They've got Boyd and Lewis, and Salazar's a clutch guy, so really and truly kind of the same cast of characters, just a year older, year better. Obviously, they've got really good starting pitching that these guys have. 2 of the 3 have been there as well. So they lost Dahlback, but obviously, we're going to have our hands full. They're super well coached. They play extremely well together. And more than anything, they play in a definitive system. They understand who they are, and they understand what's expected of them, and they go out and execute
it. David Collier for the ABC here in Lubbock. Coach Johnson and Coach Deggs, both of you guys, how beneficial is it for you two guys to kind of be familiar with where you're playing in a regional as opposed to Coach Sherman here?
I'll go first. I think it's great. I think, the first reason we scheduled Coach Tadlock and Texas Tech is I know they were going to go out and win a boatload of games. And from an RPI standpoint, it's very difficult to get into the NCAA tournament. So that's always the first thought when you come into an environment like this. With that being said, that night was a great experience for us. And, this is a very high probability place for us to come play in the NCAA tournament geographically. So I think it's good for our players. With that being said, and other coaches would probably agree, is everything with players, the age that we coach is day to day. So something in March might as well have been 10 years ago for my team.
One thing about today's day and age in baseball, too, especially being from Texas, most of our kids, and I think Tim would agree with this, have been through here, in the summer circuit or the fall, et cetera. We did play Tim and his guys 3 times last year, and, came up here and played a doubleheader, and they were pretty rude to us. Played a pretty good first game, and then they treated us like a redheaded stepchild in the second game and got after us pretty good. So our guys, they understand what it's like playing here, and they understand, what's at stake and how good these guys are.
The Lubbock Avalanche Journal. Coach Sherman, when you look at the Texas Tech lineup in terms of its batting, what have you kind of told Ron, who I believe is going to start for you tomorrow? I guess what have you kind of told him to kind of look at and just kind of be aware of throughout the game?
It's pretty simple. They're good, and good luck, Ron. I mean, really. I mean, they're a top program, and year in, year out, and you're not fooling anybody. I mean, you know what they're all about in their lineup, up and down their lineup, over 300 hitters, and one of the better offensive teams in the country. Ronnie's got to be Ronnie, and what Ronnie does best. It'd be different if we played him throughout, through conference, or you knew more about him in the, up and down the Eastern Seaboard, playing him early in the year or something. But we just don't get out here to this part of the country, and just don't have that chance to match up and see that type of lineup. So I just know they're good, and they got good players, and I expect our kid to rise to the challenge, and I think he's excited about it. I mean, what are you fearing? You're fearing is just a great opportunity to play against a great college baseball team that has a great name for itself, and I don't think that he's going to fear that. I think he's going to embrace it. So that's what he's excited about, and we were excited about.
This is for Coach Sherman. Jeff McGuire with Double T 97.3. Coach, how have you prepared your team for coming in as the 4 seed, playing in the very first game with the hostile crowd with the home team?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, even as an old dog, as a coach. Look up and see the packed house, and I know what that's all about, and I'm eager for our kids to have a little bit of that. Now, we're part of the CAA, and sometimes we'll have some decent crowds. And we played, down at UNC Wilmington that hosted our Colonial Conference athletic tournament, and not probably 5,000 or 6,000 or whatever we're going to have tomorrow, but maybe 1,500, and they get pretty rowdy. Sometimes you can hear them a lot louder, because of not as big a crowd. But I don't know if you ever really prepare anybody for it. I think you just embrace the situation, and then you got to keep your feet on the ground the first couple innings. We got, as you say, survive a little bit of the run of the crowd and their calls of their chants and all that kind of stuff that they do on this level. So I think just try to kind of get our kids to be calm within the first couple innings and then just play our baseball.
Coach Tadlock, any decision on your starter for tomorrow's game?
Davis Martin.
You talk about the decision going into that.
Well, Davis has been healthy now for, he's been, as you guys know, your local guys know, he's kind of been on the road to recovery, and he's been on the mound twice. Was up to, I think, 51 pitches in the game in Oklahoma City, went down and finished with 15. So he should be good, 85, 90 pitches. He's a competitor. I mean, he's been in the moment. He's been our Friday night guy since he's been here, and we got a lot of confidence in him. And at some point, he's got to pitch in this regional either way, and so it felt like he was the right guy to go on Friday.
For Coach Johnson, Coach Deggs mentioned J.J. Matajevic earlier. He did not win Pac-12 Player of the Year this year, but was first-team All Pac-12 along with a bunch of other players. Were you disappointed that he didn't win, and how do you feel about the number of guys who did make first-team All-Conference?
Well, I have two thoughts on that. First, a little disappointed for JJ. I mean, those are Player of the Year numbers. I think if you asked maybe a different question of who do you not want to see coming to the plate, every coach probably would have put his name at the top. With that being said, you're looking at one of the greatest seasons in the history of college baseball with Oregon State. I think they're 27-3 in our league. I've never heard of anything like that, and 49-4. So, for them to win all the awards is really not all that surprising as far as the number of the players on the team. Proud of those guys. A lot of individual growth. Matajevic and Oliva were, at some point in their career, 230 or 240 hitters that are, All-American type players right now. And I thought all 8 or 9 guys, whatever we had, were very deserving.
Coach Tadlock.
I guess what's the status on Cody Farhad? How did he practice today? And I guess have you heard anything on his status?
He should be full go tomorrow.
Coach, Tanner got some reps at second base. Is that something that we could see moving forward? I mean, you plan on having him out there? Or is it just an option?
Well, he's a baseball player. He'll play wherever you stick him. We don't anticipate it happening. I mean, but I wouldn't say, don't ever say never. I mean, he could definitely step in there if we need him to, but not planning on playing him there. But at the same time, it's good to see him there if we need to stick him in there.
Any other questions?
For Coach Deggs and Coach Johnson, the others have revealed their starting pitchers for tomorrow. Do you guys have any announcements to make in that regard?
Go ahead.
I haven't decided.
Yeah, we will announce our pitcher of the day of the game for the entire postseason. If it ends on Saturday or if it ends in 3 weeks, it'll be the day of the game.
I would like to echo what Tim said, though. Been fortunate to be in a lot of these, and this job, just showing up in the hotel last night, and the job you guys have done, Steve. I don't know everybody's name here, but it is first class, so thank you guys.
Other questions? Okay, coaches, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.